Hello learners, in this video we will be discussing about CRO probes. The objective of this video is to make you to understand what is CRO probe, why is it needed instead of using wires, and what are the different types of CRO probes available in the industry. Let's try to understand what is CRO probe. So CRO probe is a coaxial cable with BNC connector at one end to connect with CRO, and the tips, banana tip or crocodile tips at the other end to connect with the test circuit. So this is called CRO probe. Now the question is, why it is needed? Why should not we use simple wires instead of probe? So we know the input signal to be displayed on the CRO screen is given to the vertical input of the CRO. So that input signal connected to the CRO, vertical input of the CRO, is actually given to the vertical deflection plates through the vertical amplifier. This vertical amplifier inside the CRO have the very high input impedance and input capacitance in parallel. So usually in most of the CRO, the input impedance, input resistance will be in the range of 1 mega ohm, and input capacitance will be in the range of 10 to 30 picofarad. On average it may be a 20 picofarad. So in most of the CRO, near the BNC connector of the vertical input, it will be written as a 1 meg ohm and 20 picofarad input impedance and input capacitance. You can see this on a CRO. So this is the input impedance of the CRO. So when you try to connect your test circuit with the CRO to observe the waveform, see, for example, this is my test circuit, non-inverting amplifier with AC input source. Now I want to measure the voltage variations at this point, right? So why I am trying to explain you what is the need of probe. Why don't you use a simple wire? Say I am connecting this point of my test circuit with the signal input of CRO by a simple wire. Basically we need two wire. Okay, one wire is to connect the test point with the signal input of CRO. The other wire is to connect the ground of the test circuit with the ground point of the CRO, right? So I have used two wires simply to connect the test circuit. In the point where I want to observe the voltage variations, the waveform on the CRO. Now what is the disadvantage of this? Why should not we use this arrangement? By using a simple wire, why should not we connect the test circuit and CRO? The answer is, there are three major problems in this arrangement. The number one is, in CRO side we have an input impedance and input capacitance, input resistance and input capacitance in parallel, right? When you connect using a wire at the test circuit side, this will come in parallel. The input impedance of the test circuit will come in parallel with the impedance of the CRO, right? So there should be a impedance matching we need to match the input impedance of the CRO with the input impedance of the test circuit. Otherwise, the signal will not effectively couple into the CRO. That is the one major problem. And the other problems are these wires. When you connect a wire with the signal input of CRO and the test point, the wire itself behave like an antenna, and it may pick up the noise signals, right? And also when you connect the wire at the test circuit at test point, so that wire may capacitively couple with the nearby components in the test circuit. That is another problem, right? So these are the three major problems with this when you connect using wires, right? First problem is impedance to be matched. See here, when you connect through wires, the signal entering into the CRO, it meets the input resistance 1 mega ohm and input capacitance 20 picofarad. So this is okay for only the low frequency signal. When the frequency of that signal, input signal, is very high, that high frequency signal will tries to go through the capacitive path. Hence it will not effectively couple into the CRO input. Then you cannot observe the correct waveform. That is the major problem for the high frequency signal, right? So let me conclude. When you connect through wires, for low frequency signal it is okay, but high frequency signal it will not couple into the CRO and you cannot see the correct waveform. And even for low frequency signal, the wires act like an antenna and picks up the noise. Then you cannot get the correct low frequency signal waveform on the screen without noise, right? You will have the signal plus noise only. So these are the problems with when you use a simple wire. That is the reason we are using a CRO probe, right? So CRO probe is required to connect your test circuit with your CRO input. Now what is CRO probe? It is nothing but a cable, coaxial cable with test lead one side and BNC connector other side, right? Test lead is used to connect with the test circuit and PNC connector is used to connect with CRO. So this is, now when you use a coaxial cable instead of wire, the major problem is solved. That is, this coaxial cable have a proper shielding around the wire, will not pick up noise signals, right? So that problem is solved. The major problem is input impedance matching. See, any CRO probe, the good CRO probe should have this kind of characteristics. So the major characteristics of a CRO probe is it should have a very high impedance and it should have high bandwidth. Meaning is, high bandwidth means that probe should allow the wide range of frequencies, right? So it should allow the wide range of frequencies, so that in a test circuit from low frequency to any very high frequency signal we can connect from the test circuit with CRO, right? For that, the cable should allow the wide range of frequencies. That is the meaning of high bandwidth. And zero signal source loading, that means this CRO at the test circuit side, it should not load the circuit. And noise immunity is high. So probe should have a very high noise immunity. That means it should not pick up the noise signals from the environment, or it should not noise signals from the near the test circuit or around the cable. It should not pick up any noise around the cable. So these are the important characteristics of the CRO probe. So high impedance, high bandwidth, should not load the test circuit and should not pick up any noise signal. So now if a probe is having all these characteristics, then it is called a CRO probe, right? So now let us look at the general block diagram of probe. That means the probe should have a, what are the parts of the probe? The probe should have the probe head, cable and termination, right? So the coaxial cable with termination at one end, right, that is to connect with CRO, and head on the other end, that is to connect with the test circuit with tips, banana tip or crocodile tip, that is called the head part. Okay, so coaxial cable with one end head and other end is termination, it is called a probe. So these are the three parts of the probe, right? Now you can see the block diagram of the CRO probe. So coaxial cable, probe head at one end with probe tip to connect with the test circuit, and termination circuit on the other side of the cable to connect with the CRO. Right. Now we understand that what is CRO probe, what are the parts of the probe, that is cable, test circuit and termination, and what is the need of the CRO probe, that we have discussed. Now let us try to understand what are the different types of probes available in the industry. See, in the industry mostly the CRO probes are used to connect the test circuit to observe the test signal on the CRO screen, right? The signal may be a voltage or current. So based on that, there are two major types of probes: voltage probe and current probe, right? So mostly we are using the voltage probe. Whenever we are trying to pick up the voltage signal, we are using voltage probe, right? Suppose if you want to measure the current waveform, you have to use the current probe. The voltage probe is further classified into passive and active probe, right? So the passive probe is another three major passive probes are there, that is direct probe, isolation probe, high impedance probe. So these three probes are basically a passive type of probe. Direct probe, isolation probe and high impedance probes are all passive probe, and the active probe we will be discussing later, that will have some advantage than the passive probe. And these passive and active probes are voltage probe, right? So these four are voltage probes, and there is one more probe called current probe, CRO current probe, and there is one more CRO probes called differential probes, right? So these are some of the types of CRO probes. Let us discuss one by one. So let us first discuss the voltage probe, passive voltage probes, that is direct probe, isolation probe and high impedance probe. So what is direct probe? It is also called as 1x probe. Industrial term is 1x. It is called as 1x probe because it does not provide any improvement in the input impedance. That means we know the CRO probe have three part, cable in between, and cable with one end head and the other end is termination, right? one end is head and other end is termination. See, the direct probe, head and termination does not have any circuit to improve the impedance. That means it does not have the impedance improvement circuitry or impedance matching circuitry, right? That is why it is called 1x probe. So the input resistance of the probe is unchanged, right? Also the input capacitance. But see, one thing you have to observe here, even though it does not have any capacitance, but the cable itself have the inherent capacitance. The cable per 30 feet, it will have almost for 1 feet it will have almost 30 picofarad capacitance. So when you use a direct probe to connect the test circuit with the CRO, the cable capacitance will add with that will come in parallel with the input capacitance of the CRO. Hence it will be added, the capacitance will be added. That is the major disadvantage of this kind of direct probe, right? So you can see this is a direct probe, shielded cable, and with at one end you have a connector, BNC connector with the termination, and the other end you have a head. This is the head part with no circuit for improving the impedance. The head have only the tip, crocodile pin and banana tip. Mostly the banana tip is used to connect a signal, and crocodile tip is used to connect the ground point, right? So this is a direct probe, but see, the major disadvantage of this probe is it does not have any impedance improvement circuit on the head side and the termination side. Both the side we don't have any circuit to improve the impedance. Only the cable capacitance added with the, hence the cable capacitance added with the input capacitance of the CRO. That is the major disadvantage, right? Now what is the solution? See, now suppose when you use this direct probe, right, to connect your test circuit with the CRO. So here my test circuit is a non-inverting amplifier. I want to observe the output waveform. Of this circuit with the CRO. So I am connecting the cable, coaxial cable. I am connecting the CRO probe, 1x probe or direct probe, right? So that is this probe, and I am connecting the termination side with the CRO. Right here the signal line will be connected with the banana tip, and the crocodile pin will be grounded. The other side I have a BNC connector on the probe, right? The BNC connector will be connected with the CRO, and the other side I have a banana tip and test crocodile tip. So the banana tip will be used to connect with the test circuit, and crocodile tip pin is used to connect to the ground. Okay, so when I connect the cable with the test circuit and CRO like this, now this is 1x probe. 1x means no improvement in the impedance, no impedance matching circuitry, but it have a shielding around the cable, hence it will not pick up the noise, right? So that problem is solved. It minimizes it will not pick up any noise signal, and it reduces the coupling to the parts of the test circuit. Since it is having a shielding around it, when you connect it to the near the test circuit, it will not couple with any test component through capacitance. So these two advantages we have in the 1x probe. The problem is, I already told you, the coaxial cable have inherent capacitance. What does it mean? This cable have inherent capacitance. What does it mean? So inside the cable 2 wires are running. one wire is to carry the signal, the another wire is to carry used to connect the ground, right? Two wires are there inside the coaxial cable, and always two wires are the conducting wires, right? So whenever the two wires with a gap in between, it is nothing but a capacitor, right? So capacitor is nothing but a conductor and two conductors in between an insulation. So hence the coaxial cable have the inherent capacitance, since two wires are inside the cable with a gap, so it is like a capacitor. And the as the length of the cable increases, the capacitance also increases. So usually for a 1 feet cable, 30 picofarad capacitance will be there, okay, 30 picofarad per feet. So this cable what is the disadvantage of the this cable? So this inherent capacitance, when you connect this cable with the test CRO side, this cable capacitance comes in parallel with the 20 picofarad internal capacitance of the CRO. So when it comes in parallel, both will be ordered, right? Suppose I am using a 2.5 feet cable. Assume that I am using 2.5 feet coaxial cable. For 1 feet, it will be 30 picofarad in the cable capacitance. 2.5 feet means 2.5 into 30. That is nothing but 75 picofarad. So this 75 picofarad comes in parallel with the 20 picofarad. So approximately 95. That is 100 picofarad. So around 100 picofarad capacitance. Now the input capacitance, when you connect this cable, earlier the input capacitance was only 20 picofarad. When you connect the cable, now the input capacitance becomes 100 picofarad, right? Increases. That is the disadvantage. Why? What is the disadvantage when the capacitance increases? When the capacitance increases, it may tends to oscillate the waveform, right? So this is the problem with the 1x probe. So 1x probe have two advantages. It does not pick up any noise signal, and it does not couple with the component. Okay, so instead of using wire, this cable gives advantage. But the disadvantage is the cable length, of the cable increases, capacitance also increases, that ordered with the input capacitance of the CRO. Then how to solve this problem? So now to solve this problem, in between this input capacitance of the CRO and the cable, you can connect a resistance, right? Carbon resistance, to isolate the CRO side and the circuit. So this is called the isolation capacitance, isolation probe. This kind of probe is called isolation probe. So in direct probe, input resistance does not change, but input capacitance is high. That is making problem. So input capacitance of CRO ordered with the capacitance of the cable, it is very high. So the problem is it may cause test circuit to oscillate when CRO connected. So this problem can be solved by connecting the carbon resistance in series with the test lead. So when you connect a resistance like this, now between a CRO and the test circuit, we have a resistance. Now the CRO capacitance and the test circuit are isolated by this resistance. That is why it is called isolation probe. Isolation means separation, right? This resistance separates the CRO capacitance and the cable capacitance. Now this is the advantage of this isolation probe, but there is a disadvantage. The disadvantage is whenever the slight change in the amplitude of the waveform and slight change in the wave shape, there is a slight change in the amplitude of the waveform and the wave shape because of this resistance, right? We are connecting a resistance in the signal path. So when the signal flows through this, the magnitude of the signal decreases. Hence there is a slight change, slight decrease in the amplitude, and the waveform shape also changes. So that is the disadvantage in the isolation probe, right? So the advantage is, okay, the advantage is it isolates the capacitance, but disadvantage is because of the resistance it reduces the amplitude of the signal. That is the problem. The amplitude should not be affected. Hence, what is the solution? Now again this is to be improved. This passive probe also to be improved, right? So how to improve this? That is the idea called high impedance bridge, high impedance probe, high impedance passive probe, right? Also it is called 10x probe. So with little modification on the both side of the cable circuit, that is the head and termination, if we see here what the modification is very simple. Across the isolation resistance, one compensating capacitor is connected, variable compensating capacitor is connected. By varying this capacitance, you will be able to adjust the impedance, right? That we will discuss in, this is called the 10x probe. So this is the better passive voltage probe compared to the direct probe and the isolation probe. Both have disadvantages, but it is having very good advantage. 10x probe having the impedance matching circuit before and after the cable, right? That is the head part and the termination circuitry, head circuit and termination circuit. Before and after the cable we have a circuit, hence we are able to match the impedance. Now the question is, why this is written as 9 megohm? Why 9 megohm? Carbon resistance connected in series is a 9 megohm, and what is the capacitance across this 9 megohm we have to connect? This and all design parameters, problems, and we have to identify, discuss. The solution is, it is called the high impedance probe, right? 10x probe or high impedance probe. The solution is, look at the diagram. So this is the coaxial cable. So the CRO side we have a CRO input resistance and capacitance in parallel. Let us call it as R2 and C2. And test circuit side we have a resistance connected in series to the signal, that isolation resistance, that is R1, and we have connected the capacitance across the resistor. It is called compensating capacitor, and compensating capacitance, it is, let us call it as C1. Okay, so before and after the cable we have a RC parallel combination. Okay, this RC parallel combination, both R1 C1 R2 C2 forms the bridge like circuit like this. See here, R1 C1 parallel, R2 C2 is parallel, and see, look at here, one end of the R2 and C2 is connected together and it is given connected to the ground. See here, R2 C2, one end is connected to the ground, they are connected together. The other end of R2 and C2 is connected to the cable, connected through the cable with R1 C1, one end of the R1 C1. That is what shown here. The other end of R2 C2 connected with R1 C1. Okay, so the other end of R1 C1 tied up together and connected to the input. So that is what here shown here, it is input. Okay, so exactly this R1 C1 R2 C2 front and before and after the cable is actually forms the bridge circuit. Okay, like this. And we know how to analyze the AC bridge. The input signal is the AC signal. This is the signal given to the CRO to observe the waveform. Okay, Now let us try to analyze the bridge circuit. Simple. We know the bridge balance equation is the multiplication of the opposite impedances are equal. Okay, that is R1 C2. R1 is the resistance offered by the resistor, and the reactance of the C2 is 1 by j omega C2. Right, these two multiplied together, R1 into 1 by j omega C2 will be equal to the R2 into 1 by j omega C1. Right. So we know the opposite, the idea is to balance the bridge opposite arm impedances, multiplication of the impedances in the opposite arms are equal. So Z1 Z4 equal Z2 Z3, that is R1 into 1 by j omega C2 is equal to 1 by j omega C1 into R2. Right, that is R1 into 1 by j omega C2, R2 into 1 by j omega C1. Now in both sides we have 1 by j omega, you can cancel it out. Right, you can cancel the 1 by j omega. So we get R1 by C2 equal to R2 by C1. This can be written as R1 C1 equal to R2 C2. Right. So our interest is to find out the compensating capacitance value C1. So C1 is R2 C2 by R1. Okay. So C1 can be this compensating capacitance C1, variable capacitance value C1, that is this C1 can be found from this equation R2 C2 by R1, where R2 C2 is known value. Right, R2 and C2 is nothing but the internal impedance of the CRO. C2 is usually 20 picofarad, R2 is 1 megohm for most of the CRO. So we know the R2 C2 is 1 megohm and C2 is 20 picofarad, but we do not know R1. So once you know R1, you can calculate the C1. How to calculate the R1? Again, that is, look at the bridge circuit. We can establish the relation between R1 and R2 by voltage division principle. See here, the input signal is given. It flows, the current from the input signal flows through the R1 and R2 to the ground. Then R1 R2 divides the voltage. So by voltage division formula, we can say the potential at A is R2 by R1 plus R2 into V in input signal. Right. So R2 by R1 plus R2 into V in, that is your potential at the A. Right, that is the potential at A, that is the signal given to the CRO V0. So V0 is written by R2 by R1 plus R2 into Vi. Simply by voltage division formula. Now what is the attenuation factor alpha? We know output by input is a gain. Right, input by output is the attenuation. So the attenuation factor alpha can be written as Vi by V0. Okay, V0 by Vi is gain, Vi by V0 is a attenuation factor. So what is Vi by V0? So from this equation we can write Vi by V0 is equal to R1 plus R2 by R2. Okay, so this can be further written as R1 by R2 plus R2 by R2, that is 1 plus R1 by R2. Now this 1 bring to the left side of the equation, we get alpha minus 1 equal to R1 by R2. Our interest is to find the R1. So what is R1? Alpha minus 1 into R2. Now we have established the relation between R1 and R2. R2 is the known value. Alpha is the attenuation factor we can choose. Now we get the R1 value. Okay. So now we get R1 value. Once we get R1 value, we can find the C1. So by now we can calculate R1 and C1. Right. And see one more thing, when the alpha is greater than 1, that attenuation factor is greater than 1, R1 is greater than R2. Okay, and C1 is less than C2. The idea is when you choose the attenuation factor alpha greater than 1, for example, let us choose alpha is 10. When alpha is 10, R1 will be 10 minus 1, 9 into R2. Okay. Suppose when your R2 is 1 mega ohm, then R1 is 10 mega ohm, 9 mega ohm. So R1 is greater than R2, but C1 is less than C2. So the idea is, here what is happening is, by adjusting this capacitance value, choosing this by balancing the bridge, actually what we are doing is, when you balance the bridge, the input signal side, the impedance at the input signal side and the impedance at the CRO side are matched together. Exactly match. This is the impedance matching circuit. Okay. That is the how the impedance is matched means, the R1 increases the input resistance, C1 decreases the input resistance by alpha. Okay. Now let us construct that 10:1 high impedance passive probe. Now we have understood what is meant by high impedance passive probe. The high impedance may be any value you can choose. Now let me construct the 10x probe. 10x means 10:1 ratio. 1x means 1:1. No improvement in the impedance. But 10x means 10 times impedance is improved. Right? Input impedance is improved for the voltage probe. We know for voltage probe, if the input impedance is very high, the signal will be exactly coupled. Okay. So hence we need to improve the impedance. So we are improving the impedance by 10 times. By compensating the capacitance, by reducing the input capacitance of the CRO, by increasing the input resistance of the CRO, we get the probe called 10:1 probe. Okay. Now see, let us construct the 10:1 high impedance probe. It's very simple. It increases the input impedance by factor 10 and decreases the input capacitance by 10. Okay. That is why it is called 10:1 probe. The typical values of the input resistance of the CRO, we know that 1 mega ohm input resistance and the input capacitance 20 picofarad. Now we have chosen the attenuation factor alpha is 10 because it is a 10:1 probe. So we know alpha value, we know the relation R1 equal to alpha minus 1 into R2. So alpha is 10. So we get 9 into 9 R2. R2 is a 1 mega ohm CRO resistance. Then R1 is 9 mega ohm. Okay. So that is the reason. So we have chosen the R1 is 9 mega ohm, and now we know the R1 value. Find the C1. C1 equal to C2 by alpha minus 1. So 20 picofarad by 9 equal to 2.2 picofarad. So now look at the value. R1 is 9 mega ohm while R2 is 1 mega ohm. So approximately 10 times R1 greater than R2, and C1 is 2 picofarad approximately, and C2 is 20 picofarad. C2 is 10 times less than C1. Okay. So the idea is, we have chosen the R1 C1 like this. This is fixed value. R2 is a internal resistance of the CRO. It is fixed 1 mega ohm. C2 is the internal capacitance 20 picofarad. Now we have to improve the resistance. This 1 mega ohm we have to improve by factor 10. So I have connected here the 9 ohm. So 9 plus 1, it will be 10. Okay. And this capacitance is, input capacitance is 20 picofarad. I got to reduce the capacitance. So I am connecting here the capacitance value C1 as 2 picofarad. So when this 2 picofarad comes in parallel with the 20 picofarad, the effective capacitance is reduced. That is the idea. So that is how we have this passive probe is constructed. Okay. So that is the 10:1 passive probe. Right. So that is what we have shown here. It's a 10x probe. That means 10:1 probe. When you connect the test circuit with the CRO, so this is CRO side. CRO side, we have a resistance 1 mega ohm and 20 picofarad in parallel, and the test circuit side we have a 9 mega ohm, right, isolation resistance. We have designed this value to improve the 10 times Okay, it's 9 meg ohm, and the compensating capacitance 2 picofarad. Okay, so when you connect like this, the probe will become a 10x probe. Okay, so in the 1x probe, one side, when you connect the 9 meg ohm and 2 picofarad in parallel, it will become a 10x probe. This is how you have to convert the 1x probe into 10x probe. Okay, now how does it work? How does it compensate? At low frequency, see, at low frequency, when you connect the test circuit with the CRO at low frequency, the capacitor does not come into the picture, because for low frequency capacitor gives very high reactance, hence it is not coming into the picture, only resistance coming into the picture. So the test signal passes through the 9 meg ohm and 1 meg ohm. Okay, so the potential at this point is applied to the CRO, that is approximately 10 times improved voltage. Okay, so this is for low frequency signal effectively coupled into the CRO with improved impedance. But at high frequency, resistance will not come into the picture, only capacitance come into the picture. So when you connect the test circuit with the CRO, when the high frequency signal comes from the test circuit, it flows through the capacitive path, okay, which is shown in the red color here. So what happens? These capacitors comes in parallel, 20 picofarad and 100 picofarad. How does this 100 picofarad is the capacitance of the cable, approximately 2.5 feet cable. For 1 feet 30 picofarad, 2.5 feet 100 picofarad. So this 100 picofarad is the cable inherent capacitance. This 20 picofarad is the input capacitance of the CRO, and this is the capacitance we have connected, compensating capacitance. We can also adjust this value, right? So now the high frequency signal passes through this compensating capacitor and these two capacitance in parallel. So what happens when these two capacitance comes in parallel? The effective capacitance reduces, right? Compensating capacitance and the coaxial cable capacitance attenuates the signal 10 times at high frequencies, right? Hence, at all frequencies, impedance matched and the signal from test circuit coupled with CRO without distortion. So this is the best probe, best passive probe, right? When you choose the passive probe to measure the voltage, to observe the voltage waveform, you can choose the 10x probe, right? And apart from that, there is a probe called active voltage probe. So this is the active voltage probe. See here, so CRO side the same input resistance and capacitance and the coaxial cable. On the other side, only the change is at the test circuit side, at the header side, instead of the passive circuit, instead of the simple resistance and capacitance in parallel, instead of resistance and capacitance parallel, R1C1 parallel combination, instead of the R1C1 parallel RC circuit, they have chosen a active circuit, FET source follower and BJT emitter follower. So this active circuit effectively increases the input impedance and reduces the input capacitance than the passive circuit. That's why it is called the active probe. Okay, so it is used for connecting very high frequency signal, fast rising and high frequency signal. Okay, so usually in the CRO in your lab, maybe a 20 megahertz CRO and 60 megahertz, 100 megahertz CRO. So in the range of 100 megahertz CRO and more than the higher range of CROs, mostly the active probes are suggested to use. So alpha is very small because active device of the FET is an active device, hence the attenuation factor is small, and even a small signal can be picked up. Okay, that is because of the active in the active circuit, FET circuit, even a small voltage signal in the range of millivolt also can be effectively coupled into the CRO and you can observe the waveform. That is one more advantage. Okay, So the FET source follower provides high input impedance which reduces the loading effect, and following the FET source there is a PJT emitter follower. It drives the cable and provides impedance matching. That's all about the voltage probe. And one more probe, very useful probe to measure, to observe the current waveform, is a current probe. So it can be used to measure the current instead of voltage. The idea is, the concept, it uses the concept of Hall effect, that is converting the current into voltage. We are coupling the voltage into the CRO, that is the idea. So current in the test circuit is converted into voltage using a Hall effect, and that voltage is coupled to the CRO, that is the idea. So we know what is Hall effect. According to Hall effect, when a current flow in a conductor which is perpendicular to the magnetic field, a potential difference appears between the opposite edges of the conductor. Okay, both current magnetic field direction, current direction, and the voltage EMF direction will be 90 degree apart. So this is the idea of the current probe. So you can see the figure. So see, the ring is a core material, and the one side of the ring we have a wire through which the actual current to be measured is flowing. Right, the current to be measured coming out from the test circuit flows through the wire, and it inductively coupled to the other the coil in the other side of the ring, inductively coupled. That is the transformer concept. So the AC current flows, creates the dynamic flux. Flux changes. It's coupled through the core with the flux. The changing dynamic flux produced in the coil flowing through the current to be measured. That flux will link through the core with the other coil, and so that is inductively coupling, and this voltage induced in this coil is given through the cable into a CRO. That is the idea. Okay, so that is current is converted by means of voltage, and there is isolation also here. That means the test circuit is isolated from the CRO in using the flux, inductively isolated. Okay, that is the idea. So inductively coupling the signal to the CRO, you need not connect the test circuit with CRO directly. It is connected indirectly through flux. So probe can be clamped around a wire carrying electric current without any physical contact, something like this. So this is your current probe. Okay, so by pressing this handle you can place the wire in between this circle. Okay, so actually this is a core, and the current to be measured, the current carrying wire to be measured is allowed into this circle. Okay, around inside the core. Right, hence the inductively the current will be coupled into this core, and it converted into a voltage here, and it will be connected to the CRO. Right, that is called current probe. So that's all about these CRO probes. Thank you.